Hey, welcome back to another Habs Summer Target with hockey Coach Frenchy, directly for the beautiful country of Thailand on amazing great Thursday night, July 3rd, 2025. Yes, the Independence Day is going to be tomorrow in USA. Canada did their Happy Canada Day a couple of days ago, and everybody is on the mode of a vacation, summertime, but the NHL was not in the last maybe 7 days with the NHL Draft 2025, and of course the free agency in NHL happening the last couple of days, to July 1st to right now. A lot of money was spent by different team, but still have something try to increasing the roster for the upcoming season to have a better year, and that's happening today with a couple of new signature in the UFA. We're going to talk about this, what's going on in NHL around the league. Then the Montreal Canadiens, you are at the right spots if you want to talk about the Habs, les Bleus Blancs Rouges. This is what we do here every single night at 8:30 p.m. Tomorrow night, I'll be back for the fun Friday night with hockey Coach Frenchy. The Friday night, no template, no plan. We're going to sit together on the couch at the living room, and we're just talking about hockey. We talk about fun stories around the NHL and fun things. You can be about live and nothing. We just have a good time together for 90 minutes, and at the end, the big friendship quiz at the end with 5 questions around the NHL. So every Friday night during the summer, the Saturday night we are off during the summer, and we are back on Sunday a little bit with a recap of the week again in NHL or the Montreal Canadiens. So this is what we got for the next couple of days. Again, happy Independence Day for all the people in USA tomorrow. Enjoy your day off. Take a great time with your family and your friends. If you're traveling, leave early in the morning because it's going to be a mess around the USA on the road. And I wish you really be careful, everyone. And we want to be sure you are safe and to see you during the next live stream. But tonight is back in the house. Maybe 2-3 years ago was with us during a summertime where we invite many different guests talking about NHL. And he is directly right now at Vermont, but he live in New Jersey, follow a lot the New Jersey Devils, and he part of the great Full Press Hockey website. He's going to give us a bit more about his resume and what's going on in the last couple of days in NHL. Of course, is with us tonight. Mr. Jim Biringer is in the house tonight. Welcome, Jim.
Coach Frenchy, what's going on, man? It's good to be here. Good to be back on the show, talking hockey, talking Habs as well around the league. Pleasure to be here. Been too long.
You're welcome, my friend. Thanks to be with us. It was a pleasure. If you are in the X account, this is where you can reach him. He's all over the map, guys. He's very active around the podcast. Of course, he has his own podcast. So, Jim, for all the people in the chat right now, give us a bit more your resume about what you do.
Yeah, as you said off the top, I write over at Full Press Hockey, but I also have a podcast up on YouTube. You get it also on wherever you get your podcasts, Full Press NHL Podcast. Some great guests we're having lined up for the summer as well. I also write over at NHLRumors.com, as also with RG Media as well. You also can find me if you have the SiriusXM app. I'll be on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, wrapping things up Mick Kern next week on a power play. Also, potentially making a debut on TSN Radio in Montreal as well, sometime during the summer. So a lot going on, but you get me on the socials at Jim Biringer on X as well. Jersey Jim 33 is my Instagram. I love writing. I love talking about hockey. Love interacting with the fans. Any questions you guys have for me, I'm more than happy to answer them on my X. I love talking hockey with everybody. It's a passion of mine since I was a kid, and I just love doing it.
I don't know. Do you have time to sleep?
Minimal sleep recently. A lot of airplanes, and hopefully finally getting some sleep as everything starts to wind down.
That's awesome. First of all, thanks to be with us. Also, you said to me at the and the green room. You are right now in Vermont for vacation for a couple of days.
Yeah, no, I'm here through next week. American holiday, as you said, July 4th weekend, and happy Canada Day to belated Canada Day to all the viewers up in Canada. I have lots of friends up there, so just happy belated Canada Day. It's nice to have a little time off soon, but as we say in the business, it never stops. So hopefully everything will start to slow down, and everybody could just relax and have a good time and have a nice summer break.
That's awesome. We have one of your friends up in the blues is in the house tonight. So welcome, Mr. RJ Calabro. So RJ is in New Jersey, by the way, around the brick, I believe. I think he is. So many people in the chat, guys, thank to be with us. Usually we say hi to everybody one by one, but tonight, because we're Jim, we take advantage of his time with us. So all of you guys, thanks to be with us. And don't forget to subscribe, click on the like, and become a member of the Hockey Nation Show. That'd be great. If you have any questions, don't forget to put the letter Q in front of your question. And Jim is going to answer to your question. And the one I'm going to give you right now, and after that, we're going to move on, is with the addition of the Thompson and Bolduc, the Habs will still need another top six forward, a second center. How might Gordon address this problem if Canadiens are to take the next step? Do you see the Montreal Canadiens chasing a second center or maybe push back on the up next season, next summertime?
Look, I think they're still going to work the phones this summer to see if they can get a second line center. That's definitely what they're needing. But I think they're also going to see if Kirby Dach is 100% healthy come training camp. They can push it out a little bit. But this kid Bolduc that they got from St. Louis is such a great ad for them. Jeff Gordon on NHL Network, back when he got drafted by the Blues, was really high on the kid. So I know why he went after him. And there's potential there for Bolduc to be in the top six. Even though his numbers, say he might be a middle six forward for the team, there's potential there for what he's shown, early in his career to be a second line center for the Montreal Canadiens. And you know what? They've done a lot of great work. They nailed Noah Dobson on the back end. That's huge, and that made Logan Mailloux very expendable because you have David Reinbacher back there as well. So to get Dobson, to get Bolduc, the little moves that they've made, the Canadiens are in a good spot. Again, it's the toughest thing now for Montreal moving forward is getting back to the playoffs because they had the success probably a year earlier than maybe a lot of people expected, even myself. Look, I had them playing meaningful games in April. I didn't see them making the playoffs, but when the Rangers and everybody else decides to struggle, very happy to see Montreal do well. I hold them in my heart a lot because I know John Leclerc who played there. He went to UVM up in Vermont, so his cousin and I went to school. So very very cool to see guys like that do well. So it's going to be interesting what the Montreal Canadiens do. I have no doubt they're trying to work the phones, but it's difficult to get a second line center. I know they were trying to get after Kyrou before the deadline, but they just couldn't make the deal with the Blues work.
Well said, well done about the Montreal Canadiens second center situation. I agree with you. I've been honest with you, I predict Montreal 78 points last year, so I was off about 13 points, so don't worry about your prediction also. On the prediction, I'm not very good. It's about the Montreal Canadiens. I think I tried to be more realistic, and they did last year, honestly, over expectation. It was an amazing, great year, and something like you mentioned, the Rangers struggling last season. Remember, remind me a little bit more the Pat or the Devils. When they make the play with no expectation, maybe one the year they did it. Then after that, they did not make it with injuries. And then last year they returned. But we'll see what the Montreal are going to do for the upcoming season. The ad of Bolduc and Thompson go to helping. And you have to remember, guys, even Demidov is going to be with the Montreal again this season. Now, as a second center, can Kirby Dach carry on that spot for the upcoming season, or Alex Newhook? I think they're going to go inside organically and not to go outside of the other organization to helping them. So we'll see what's happening with them for sure. Great answer, Jim. We have a couple more people. Welcome, Randy Walkman, by the way. Question from TH. And you area on your calendars. They're getting a Shabanav. Shabanav played the KHL last season. A good skater, good player. I follow all the game last year for Demidov, by the way, Jim. So I see Shabonov a couple of times. But what do you expect this? Shabonov, we know last year they got Maxim Tsiplagov from Russia to helping them have a good year overall. He got hurt at some point, but Shabonov with the Islanders, they was targeting participant team. Boston was one of them. The Carolina also, but he picked the Islanders.
Yeah, no, it's a good fit for the Islanders, and what a month for Matthew Darche, right? The general manager for the Islanders, right? You first of all, the return that they get from the Noah Dobson trade, you get Eklund, and then you get Sean Aitchison in the draft along with Matthew Schaefer. You sign Jonathan Drouin to a nice deal. You get, Shabovanov, as you said, and he's going to help that Islanders middle six and maybe top six because they need to score and they need offense, and they've needed offense for a long time now. Like ever since they went to the back-to-back bubbles when Lou Lamoriello was still the general manager, they didn't have offense and they needed to get it. And the same old year when Lou was there, they didn't add anybody except Bo Horvat, and that really didn't move the needle. And then you bring in Anthony Duclair. Anthony Duclair is a nice player, but is he a top six forward that's going to help you put the puck in the net? Kyle Palmieri is a streaky goal scorer. I like the kid from Russia. There's Alexander Romanov is there as well. So there's a nice built, culture there of Russian players that there's a familiarity, and the adjustment won't be as bad as if he's going to a new spot where there's nobody around. The culture he understands. I think he's a great add by Matthew Darche. Again, the second year in a row they've picked up a free agent from the KHL, where Philadelphia looked like that was the place he was going to, and then the Islanders sneak in with a better offer. I think the players that they have there really going to help the Islanders, their offense and their top six, I should say, especially their second line, because they need to score goals and they can defend really well. But to get a player like that 2 years in a row, my hat off to Matthew Darche.
Well said, Jim, about the New York Canadiens. I'm going to ask a couple of things there for the New York Canadiens. Of course, Emil Heineman for the Montreal Canadiens is going to join that team. I think it's going to be a good, solid full lineup for that. You're right about the lack of the offensive side of the game. Of course, the injury of the Barzell did not help for sure. And I think there will be a better year overall for the New York Canadiens. We mentioned also they tried to pick it up a couple of prospects for the last couple of years. They have a lack of prospect. Bridgeport may be the worst location to go to the hockey game, unfortunately for them. I don't want to go deep because I know about that. I don't know if you know the news. That thing is going to move now. You know that?
Yeah, yeah, I saw something about that they were going to move the team from Bridgeport up to Hamilton, which is very
Exactly.
interesting. It's very interesting that they're going to Hamilton just because of how much. I don't want to say that they're going, like the NHL is going to expand to Hamilton and put a second team there, but it makes me wonder if this is a test run for a second team in Hamilton. But I also agree with the guys that I talked to on the island. It's kind of sad that they weren't able to put that team in at the old Nassau Coliseum to make that their home for the AHL, because the building, the standard for the AHL buildings aren't as the same as the NHL building. So the stadium in Nassau Coliseum is a lot smaller. It was the smallest building in the NHL before they got the new UBS Arena. I think that would have been a perfect fit. You have them right down the road and not even that far. So the bus commute would have been perfect for a lot of these guys. It's unfortunate that they're not going to Nassau Coliseum. But again, my radar's up because if this goes well, my gut tells me that they may try to get a second team in the Toronto area.
We'll see what happening for them for sure. So thanks for answer to TH. Well, Peter August said, do you see the Ab offer sheet any possible second center or maybe any other players on the offer sheet this summer?
That's a great question because a couple guys I know were texting me today. We're just, going around the horn just for fun. But there's a situation I'm watching in Anaheim with Mason McTavish. And I'm keeping my eye on that one, especially for a couple of teams. Montreal's being one of them. But I think St. Louis is keeping their eye on what's going on with Pat Verbeek and Mason McTavish because he's not signed yet. and he's eligible to be an offer sheet, and the Canadiens have the assets to make that work, and he would be a good fit for Montreal. I'm not trying to get everybody's hopes up on that one, but I'm just saying, to me, what he brings to the team, what the Canadiens need at that position, I'm looking at what they've done. I look at what Florida's done, St. Louis has done with players, taking shots on players and making them work in their system. Like, who would have ever thought Carter Verhaeghe would be the player that he would have been when he was originally drafted and signed, and then went to Tampa, now in Florida? Similar to what we see Dalen Holloway, Philip Broberg in St. Louis, right? So I think for me, Mason McTavish is a play that I could see Montreal going after.
You're right about that. Pat Verbeek is not easy to negotiate any contract in NHL. I think, if I'm right, he had a difficult time with Trevor Zegras a couple years ago. It took them a long time before he get there. He's really hard on those kind of negotiations. Will be very interesting. I feel like I could be wrong, guys, but I feel Ken Hughes will never do an offer sheet. I just feel he's not the type of the GM is right now. He came for the agent, an agency with a Quatrax, I believe is the name of the agency, right? So I don't see that from Ken Hughes. I could be wrong. You never know in RK, right? But this is not his personality or behavior, I feel. Are you agree with me?
Yeah. Yeah, because Jeff Gordon too, like, right, the where he came from in New York, right? Like the they never really did any of that. They try to trade and try to draft and develop the players that they need. But again, you never know. It's a new day and age for the National Hockey League, right? Like, the we saw what the Blues did last year with Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg. Those were well executed. The thing is, it's got to be the right number where Anaheim really has to think about matching it. And to me, like, it feels like they could match it. Like when they did it with, I mean, it was different regime, but when they made the Aho offer sheet, that was kind of like, all right, Carolina can match this easily. If it was maybe a little bit more, there would have been serious considerations considering the ownership down there, and how they like to pay players. Again, I've been proven right with the Nikolaj Ehlers contract that we saw in Carolina today. I know I heard a lot of rumblings about, oh, they're going to pay this amount of money, over $10 million for this guy, and that. I'm like, okay, that's all well and good. The GM can ask all he wants. Does the owner really want to do it? And if the owner doesn't want to do it, that's a problem. So again, I would monitor the situation with Mason McTavish. Maybe they could pull off a trade similar to what we saw with Carolina and the Rangers. From indications and readings I've seen, that Carolina might have made an offer sheet on Keandre Miller. Instead, they work out a trade. Maybe that's a direction too. But I mean, it's gonna, like we've talked about, it's gonna be tough to find that second line center right now. Maybe you see what you have coming out of training camp. That's just my opinion on that.
You're right about that. Frank, I have a question. What's the Pittsburgh Penguins goaltender situation from your POV?
Not good. Not a good one. Tristan Jarry, for me, I never understood the contract. I never understood why they brought him back. He was supposed to be gone a couple of years ago, and then they bring him back. I think that was a Mike Sullivan bring back, because they wanted to really move on. Now you get rid of Alex Nedeljkovic. I thought he was really sturdy. Now you're going to put that young goalie into that. I think they're going to try to trade for a goaltender. I never understood why, when they were trying to, try to keep the band together, why they never tried to trade for the hometown kid in John Gibson. Maybe they just didn't have the assets. Maybe they just didn't want to, bring him in because of his history and his injuries. That's something to me that I would, monitor. I mean, Blomqvist is a good goalie. It's the goalie of the future, but they need somebody to insulate that kid, because the Penguins are going to be a bad team this year.
It's not looking good. I'll just give you guys their line. Ross Crosby and McCarthy. This is the kids from the Winnipeg Jet draft. Again, the trade for Brendan Yager, I believe it is, right?
Yes. Brendan Yager, yeah.
Then you have Kuivunen, Malkin Pekel, and Raquel, I'm sorry. Thomas Sino, Novak, both players play the Nashville Predator, and Heinen At the 4 right now, we have Lizotte, Brazo, and the Ward. So that give you guys an idea what's going on with that team. And this is going to be a bottom 5, I believe.
Yeah, this is definitely a bottom 5 team. I mean, their defense isn't the greatest either. I mean, Connor Clifton, Erik Karlsson's not a great defenseman. He's a great offensive player, but I mean, like, the Penguins are just not a good team, and we know what the rumblings are about a certain 87. I'll believe it when I see it, kind of thing, and I don't see it. Like, I think he's a lifer Penguin until he's not, and that's how I view it.
Just for your experience, what you heard. By the way, guys, he interviewed the legend Sam Rosen a couple of days ago, I believe. I don't know exactly when.
Yes, yes, yep. Sam Rosen, such a great guy. Sam Rosen had great things to say about the executive vice president of Montreal Canadiens because he knows Jeff Gordon really well from his time in New York, and he loves what he's doing in Montreal. And you can't say enough nice things about him. There's a reason why the Islanders tried to hire him as the general manager, and Montreal said no. They know what they have in Jeff Gordon as an executive. You know what you have in Kent Hughes as a general manager, and the Canadiens are building a very, very good team.
Yeah, that's great to interview Sam. So let's move on. Next question. For your buddy up in the Blues, Reinbacher or Enstrom contribute on the defense this season with the Montreal Canadiens?
I mean, look, Reinbacher's there, right? Like, they moved out Mailloux. He's next in line. It'd be something if he made the team out of training camp. I mean, he's coming off that injury, and we're gonna see what he looks like. Right now, it's Struble, Carrier, Noah Dobson. There's a chance Reinbacher sees the NHL next year. I mean, especially Jaden Struble. I mean, I could definitely see a possibility of him playing. Why not, right? You drafted him really high. He's been developing. He's gone through the path of development. They're going to give him a look. They're going to give him a hard look. And if he shows at a training camp that he deserves to make a roster spot, he's going to get one. I do believe that there's a part of Jeff Gordon and Kent Hughes that wants him to play another season down in the A and then be a call up at some point. But again, if he comes in at a camp, then yeah, he could be on a team. And if not, it's going to be Enstrom because I think the way he's played too, he's been really well. Montreal is loaded on defense. Like, they're really loaded in their prospect pool. They have one of the best prospect pools in the NHL, and they've done it because of the guys that are in charge. And they're not rushing the kids anymore. They're not rushing players. Like, we saw it. Kakaniemi probably should have spent a year or two over in Finland when he was drafted, right? Slafkovsky probably should have gone back over and developed a little bit more. Now these guys are doing things the right way, and you're seeing it pay off in spades, and this is why they're in this position.
Well said about this, Montreal have a good. We see Reinbacher. I hope for me, I will start Reinbacher in Laval, and just to get more minutes and to be, to fill his knee. If he's 100%, I'm okay with that. You have a training camp, but otherwise, send him in Laval. He's going to be number one with the He's going to play 25 minutes per game, play a power play on PK. Give him a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, and then call him up if you need it. If not, it's okay. One more year, he lost almost like 18 months of hockey as a hockey player, and then extra for me, one more year. I think he's going to be the number one defenseman on the left side over there. The last Offenmeyer, and with Trudeau signing a new deal today, so it's just helping the Laval Rockets. I think Adam is going to be with or maybe not with the Montreal Canadiens, but a silly defenseman in the NHL. No doubt in my mind, the kid can play hockey in the NHL.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree 100%. I think some of these kids get rushed in the NHL, and then you see, they struggle, got to send them down. Like you saw the situation last year in New Jersey with Simone Nemec and Seamus Casey. Casey played well out of training camp, so they gave him a 9-game look, and okay, we got to send you down, and you have to develop a little bit more. But similar with Nemec too, like he was rushed along because of injuries, as you talked about the 1 year. Like, the Devils make the playoffs, and then the next year they don't make the playoffs because they have all the injuries. And again, then he comes in and fills a role this year. But again, he needed seasoning, and even Tom Fitzgerald said, I think he came up too soon and needed time to develop his game a little bit more. and defensemen take a little bit more time than other players do.
Well said about that. Montreal have a development camp today. They have a scrimmage. We'll talk about this a bit later. Roy, ask you, how do you see the fit of Nikolaj Ehlers with the and defense first Carolina? We know today Nikolaj Ehlers signed his deal of 6 years, I believe, at $8.5 million. Um, how do you see his adjustment with the system of the Canada Hurricane? Problem, no problem, or you feel it'll be good as it is good asset? I think Canada Hurricane always missing offensive side of the game at fun level. So I think this is a good great player to join the Carolina Hurricane.
Yeah, no, I like the fit. But again, my point is with Carolina, I think the defense first is really going to hurt them. And Nikolaj Ehlers, where is he playing? Because he didn't like playing second line in Winnipeg. Where is he? Is he going to go to the first line? Who's he going to bump off the first line in Carolina? And that's the thing. Is he okay with playing second line minutes there and playing with it? Because they don't have a second line center. This is the problem the Winnipeg Jets had. They don't have a second line center. And when they put him up with Scheifele and Connor, when Connor was hurt or when they had some injuries, he proved that he can play on a top line, a good power play guy. But again, to me, I've talked about this with a couple other guys around the league about Carolina's system. Maybe it's time to shift Carolina's system. As good as they are defensively, maybe it's a little bit time that we shift to push the offense a little bit more, because that's always the thing we come to the Carolina Hurricanes, especially if they get to Eastern Conference Final. Where's the goal scoring? Who's scoring for them? I love Nikolaj Ehlers as a player. I think he was underutilized in Winnipeg. I hope he's not underutilized in Carolina, but there's a reason why Mikko Rantanen didn't work out in Carolina. There's a reason why Mitch Marner was never going to Carolina. The fit of Rod Brindamore's system, I know he's a good guy. I know people say great things about Carolina. I've been there. I like the people, but you got to change your system at some point. You can't get away from playing defense, but you got to push the pace a little bit offensively. Ehlers can do that. Maybe this is a sign that they decided that it's time to shift what they do on the ice, because I think the fit of Ehlers is great. He's a good hockey player no matter where he went, but maybe it's showing that Carolina needs to shift their mindset of what their system is.
You're right about that. Great comments about this situation. We have a question for TH. What does a trade package for Isaac Howard look like? Also, what team are a fit for Howard? Howard was drafted at Tampa Bay Lightning, I think 31 overall pick a couple of years ago. He's on his third year with the Michigan State. He got 38 points to 52 points last season. 21 years old now. He decided to stay. He looked like he doesn't want. I don't know why. Honestly, maybe I'm more in the fact he doesn't want with Tampa Bay, but what do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think they're trying to trade him for sure. I think one of the reasons it didn't work out was the cap situation with Tampa and the bonuses that he's going to get on his entry level deal. He's probably going to come in and play at the playoffs. They're going to burn a year to entry level, and you know all the bonuses and the money that these kids can get out of college. We saw with some of the players that played in the playoffs this year, like a Ryan Leonard down in Washington. I think Tampa was so up against the cap that they couldn't pay him a certain amount of money, and that's why it didn't work out. So he's going to go back to school, and I think you probably could get a first round pick for him, maybe a top prospect going the other way from somebody's system. Like say, I know Edmonton's been linked to him. Maybe you can send a top prospect the other way, similar to what we saw, with the Brandon Yeager and Rutger McGroarty trade, a similar type package, like a 1-for-1 prospect swap. That you're not high on this prospect. We can swap some prospects and players that are in college or in a junior system that you're high on, and I think that's the type of package you're going to get, because maybe you can sneak a first out of it. And Isaac Howard, I think, feels the need to be honest, for the Edmonton Oilers. He feels the need for a lot of teams. He's a good hockey player. I've watched him play at Michigan State. He's a good, very, very good hockey player. And
Yeah,
he could fill a need.
yeah, I agree with you. 5'11", 180 pounds. I think he would be fine in NHL. Just say if the right fit with any team in NHL would be good for him. We have other people. We want to welcome all of you. Pop up at the last minute or the last couple of minutes. We appreciate that, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, click on the like, and become a member of the Canadian Show. We'll be back tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for another fun Friday night. We have no template. We're just hanging out together. We do exactly ask a question and the people sharing in the chat. So thanks all of you to be with us tonight on the great special of the Thursday night. Jim, he came from the full press hockey with us for approximately 1 hour. So thanks again, Jim. We have a question for Audio Murphy. Can the Montreal Canadiens buy out Carey Price contract this season in a final year contract? Jim Carey Price, and my answer would be no. You don't need to buy him out. Just
No,
put him on the long
no, you
term
don't
injury
need to buy him
reserve,
out.
right?
No, you don't need to buy him out because think about it. That if they move it, which is what they're trying to do, but say they don't move it, then you could bring in a player. You can truly find that second line center and use that money to bring in a player that's going to help you in the season, right? Like I think that's a weapon that they can utilize. We all know Carey Price's career is over, and he had a great career, and eventually he'll get in the Hockey Hall of Fame. Just not, he wasn't on he didn't get in on the first ballot, but I do believe he's a Hall of Fame goaltender. The class was just so strong this year, and it was tough for him to get in. But funny story, I was up in the Hockey Hall of Fame when Pierre Turgeon went in, and he was a great chat, and he had great things to say about his time up there as well. But to me, yeah, you don't need to buy out Carey Price's contract. What's that going to do? Just give you dead cap space. You might as well just move it or use it at this point. That's how I would look at it as a general manager, and I think that's how they're looking at it as well.
Awesome. A big fan of the New York Rangers. Up in the Blues. Welcome again. Thanks for being with us. Fully go subscribe. I would love to see you more often. You have a great question. How realistic for Canadian and Rangers walking out a Zibanejad deal to the Montreal Canadiens? Zibanejad have not a great year last season like the New York Rangers. Are they going to bounce back? Also, I want you to follow up with that. My question also, do you think the Rangers are going to bounce back after the departure of Trouba, Grader, Lindgren last year? And now they add a Kavrika, but is it good enough to put that team back on the playoff for the upcoming season?
All right, so I'll answer the first one, and then I'll do the follow up. So the Zibanejad to the Canadiens. I mean, he's a good fit. He fills a need, right? But you're gonna have to have the Rangers eat some of that contract. I don't know if Montreal wants to take on all of that, which is gonna cost you more assets. Yeah, he's a good fit. I don't know. And then don't forget he was there when who traded for him. Jeff Gordon was the GM of the Rangers when that trade went down. So and signed him there. So I think that would be a good fit for Montreal. Again, he would have to waive his no move clause to go to Montreal, and I'm not sure if he wants to head back to a Canadian city. Probably he would if it was Montreal. I think it seems like everybody wants to play for Montreal right now because they're doing well. Noah Dobson especially. But again, he fills a need. But what are you going to give up? I think the Rangers would want something very heavy back for Zibanejad, and I'm not sure if the Canadiens are willing to part with some of those pieces right now, especially they're on the rise. They're doing like we talked about, they're doing things the right way. Is now the time to really go after that type of player. I think Noah Dobson was that move this year. Again, I think Zibanejad would be a great ad, but again, right now it doesn't seem he wants to leave New York, and it seems like him and Mike Sullivan and Chris Drury, things are working out a little bit better right now. The communication that he wanted. Now, do I expect the Rangers to bounce back? Time will tell. The division's still pretty good. Carolina's still there. Let's see what Washington does. The Islanders are going to be better. Columbus is still going to be a good team. And to me, you look at it, and if Mike Sullivan can get this team to play defense, and Jonathan Quick can be Jonathan Quick and take some games away from Igor Shesterkin, yeah, maybe the turmoil in that locker room is gone. Too many distractions last year. It started in the summer with the Barclay Goodrow stuff, went to the Jacob Trouba stuff, the Igor contract, the Lafreniere contract, just too much. There was too much noise, and then the mutiny inside the locker room because they didn't want to play for the GM. They sabotaged their own season. Yeah, they got to bounce back because the players have fired 3 coaches now in 4 years. That doesn't happen. Like, you can't do that because, okay, they have a great year this year. What happens next year? Like, everybody's already looking to the following season. So for the Rangers, and don't forget, I know teams don't want to tank, but you see some of the moves that they've made, especially going into the draft. They forfeited this year's first round draft pick to Pittsburgh. Why? Gavin McKenna next year, just in case they miss the playoffs.
Well said about that. We'll be able to see what they're going to do. Florida is now over the cap, so they will have to trade someone. If is Evan Rodriguez the last one standing without a chair?
Who? Oh, can you read that one more time? I'm sorry, I just got a text message.
From the Florida Panthers is now over cap, so they will have to trade someone. Is Evan Rodriguez is the last one standing without a chair? Do you think he's going to be traded, Rodriguez?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's the target. I think, again, my apologies that you had to read that twice. But I think Evan Rodriguez is the guy that is going to go. Now, you can kick this down the can because Matthew Tkachuk, when does he have surgery? Because he dealt with a lot of injuries during the playoffs. Does he have surgery? When does he have surgery? Could Jesper Boquist be another guy that they try to move? Is that a player that they want to move as well? So I think those are the two guys to me for the Florida Panthers that you have to watch going into the rest of the offseason. I know they don't want to move a guy like Erod because of the versatility. They were able to switch him from the second line to the first line, vice versa, play with different guys. He was such a sneaky good signing for him. He's been a great player wherever he's been, by the way. Such a good player for whoever he's played for. Colorado, Pittsburgh, Buffalo. He's made a couple of rounds. He's fit so well in there, but maybe they're able to move a guy like Jesper Boquist too. I know they brought back, Nosek. They have a couple of options here. Again, if they want to kick it down the can a little bit, that LTIR final, you still can use it, but then when the new CBA comes along, you're going to have a team that's cap compliant come playoffs. This could be the time to, do something with that with Matthew Tkachuk. Again, it all depends on when he has the surgery.
Well said. We'll be interested what happening. Of course, we talk about the CBA during the week. We're going to bring more information about that the next couple of days. But you're absolutely right about this. A couple of teams have to make some readjustment with its friend a new rule about the salary cap AAV. We have Up in the Blues a question for you. If Mika Zibanejad waive his NMC, would Gordon possibly make a deal with the New York Rangers for Zibanejad? Coach, would you want him? Honestly, no. That's my feeling. First of all, he's older. He's approximately 32 years old. I could be wrong, maybe 1 year off. But for me, Montreal is targeting right now younger players between 20 to 26, 27. You see Thompson, 25. You see Bolduc at 22. And I think they're targeting a second center the same way for that. So I don't see any players older 30 is going to be with Montreal Canadiens to be the second center for the Montreal. I feel this way about Gordon, but Jim, you can consist with that question. What you say about Zibanejad from Jeff Gordon possibly make a trade?
Maybe. Again, I said it before. Jeff Gordon is the guy that brought him to New York, right? Again, it all depends on what Montreal would have to give up. I think it would be a good fit. The guy I would really want actually out of New York would be Vincent Trocheck, but that's not going to happen. I think that's the player that would be really a good fit for Montreal. But it's tough. Like, it's tough for those players. Again, we got to see what happens. I know teams are probably going to still call on Zibanejad. Where would he want to go? But I think we mentioned it before, like Mason McTavish. You're right. That age range of like 22, 26, the way they're building, right? Like, say if Montreal needed one piece, like if they were in that window, okay, we need one guy that could push us over the edge. They've already made a couple deep playoff runs. We need a second line center to get us over the edge. We're a little older team. Yeah, then Zibanejad makes sense. Now I think you target a younger player that can fit that role, that has some term. Like, that's why they tried to get Kyrou. And that would have been a good fit as well for this team. But again, what do you want to give up out of your prospect pool? How many first-round picks do you want to give up? They acquired the assets to make that Noah Dobson deal. Now let's see what the next move is, because there's a next move with this team. It feels like every year they make a big splash with somebody and they try it with somebody. And I love I think if Kirby Dach can stay healthy, he has the potential to be that guy. I really do, but he's got to stay healthy.
Well said. You're absolutely right about that. By the way, today, Michael Age. But we look like now in French, we said Michael Age, from what the description of the game today by Leroux and Marc Dumont. But you have a great scrimmage for Michael Age. We won't talk about this the next couple of minutes, but you're right. He's going to be returning with Michigan Wolverine for the second year for Michael. So we're really interesting to follow him up, what he will bring on the table this year. Some people said today that we maybe use play with the Montreal next season. I doubt about this, but you never know, Jim. If you are, from what you know, do you think he have a chance to make the roster for 2026, 2027 right away after he get out of the NCAA? Michael Edge?
He might have. He might, yeah. I mean, look, I was in Vegas when he was drafted. I was talking with somebody. I said, "This is a great pickup by Montreal. Like, I love this player. I think he's a great player." But again, I think we've said it before, Coach. We said, right, draft develop. Don't lose drafting developing. That is what makes you so successful down the line. If he has to play a year in Laval, let him play some time in Laval. It never hurts to play in the AHL. Never, ever, ever. It never hurts. For years, the team I covered when I was a fan growing up, they did that with all their players, from Petr Galiash to Peter Sikora, John Madden. All those guys spent some time. Now, there's can't miss players that don't go play there, right? There's a guy that won the Calder Trophy, like that. That's a guy, but he's a good player. Give him a little time. If their Canadians are in a spot where they believe he can be useful, especially in the playoffs, yes. But don't rush his progress.
I
Don't
agree with
rush it.
I agree with you about that. I think for me, it would be good for him. A little bit what's going on with Owen Beck. Let him play with their Laval. Let him sometime adjust yourself. I'll try to get in, guys. You have Owen Beck, Kapanen, Florence Jacquet, Margaret Edge now. We don't talk about Vincent Rover playing Europe. The center line is very solid. That's the reason they focus on the draft on the right side of the position. And we'll see what happening. Sandeman, I have a question with the new action player. Thompson, Bolduc, and of course Demidov now. Do you think the Habs have a chance to finish the upcoming season and the third place in the Atlantic Division?
I don't see why they can. I think the big thing is they're gonna be goaltending and defense. Like, this team went on so many streaks last year that they have to play better defensively, and I think that's why they got a guy like Noah Dobson. His numbers, while his offensive numbers dips, his numbers defensively as a defenseman really increased, and that's why they went to get him. And Demidov is going to have a full year in Montreal. It's not like he comes in and look, he came in and made an impact right away, right? But you could tell the adjustments of the game, especially playoff time, is a little different than it is in the KHL. Not to say he didn't have a successful run with this team. He did. But again, full off season, he stays in Montreal, can train with the team, go through all the adjustments. You get Bolduc coming in. That's a nice add. And now a healthy Kirby Dach. Like, again, when Kirby Dach's healthy, like, there were times you could see like Patrick Laine it was playing better. He makes guys around him better, and it flows. Everything flows, right? And the loss of Emil Heineman is tough. But you mentioned Kapanen's there. Beck is. They have guys in their system that can help them. And they were right there until they weren't in third place, right? They were challenging at times for third place last year, and they didn't get it because they went on losing streaks. But to me, the Habs, they have a chance. They have a chance, but it's tough to unseed those top three teams of Tampa, Florida, and Toronto, just because they're just so cemented right now. If there was a team that you could probably pass, it'd be Tampa. But don't forget, Ottawa's battling for third as well in that division. So it's not an easy division. Even Detroit's still there, Buffalo's still there. But again, I can't say no because we don't. With hockey, we saw last year the Rangers can take took a complete nosedive, and that allowed Montreal to get in the playoffs. And no one really saw Washington winning the division in Metro. I had them as a playoff team, but I didn't even think they were going to finish top 3 in the Metro. So I hate using anything as possible, but there's a chance, right? If they get off to a good start, no losing streaks, not big losing streaks like they go on. You saw what this team did last year. Everybody did. So they have a shot. Why not?
Well said about that. I agree with you about the situation for the Montreal. I still believe, for the Panthers, will be the big team. Toronto will be in front of them. Now they're going to compete with Toronto, Detroit, Buffalo, Ottawa for the third spot. I know the fans don't want to hear that, but pay attention to Ottawa Senator. I think Ottawa Senator right now are getting there. They did it last year. I think they're going to learn from those playoffs last season, and will be interesting what's going to happen with the Ottawa Senator. But question for you: as the New Jersey have a depth to do the bottom 6 to compete with the Panthers and the EC.
Well, somebody's been following my Twitter account because they know that I have not been a fan of the New Jersey Devils depth scoring, and I've made some comments during the Stanley Cup final in regards to depth scoring, because when teams like Edmonton have 19 out of 20 guys scoring goals, and the Florida Panthers had 20 out of 21 guys at least have a goal, the only player for the Panthers that didn't have a goal was Thomas Nosek. He had 3 assists, but Tom Fitzgerald said this twice now. He said at the end of the year, he's like, how do we measure depth scoring? What's depth scoring? Is it 10, 20 goal guys? Is it 20, 10 goal guys? They added Connor Brown. It helps your middle 6. It gets you faster. He's down in the third line. It's great. He's a versatile player. He could play anywhere. We saw him play with McDavid. That's great. Evgeny Dadonov, he's a streaky player. Yeah, he got 20 goals with Dallas. We'll see what he does with New Jersey again in Sheldon Keefe's system. They still need more, and they've lacked at the last year. I said it last year. I'll stand by my guns. They still need a top 6 scoring winger, and until they get that, they're not going to go far. Jack Hughes has to stay healthy. Nico Hischier is one of the best two-way centers in the game. He should have got more votes for the Selke than he did. But to me, they got to figure out what depth scoring is, because I don't know if they know what it is, and I think they may be looking at numbers too much. As much as analytics can tell us some things, sometimes an eye test tells you a little bit more. And Dadonov down in Dallas, it's a cheap deal. You can move it at the deadline if you need to later on, but again, I think they need a little bit more. They don't have enough to compete with Florida, even though they did beat them twice in like a mini series. But if you're telling me they're playing each other in the playoffs, I'm still taking the Panthers.
Yep, I agree with you about that. It's funny, as a Montreal Canadiens fan, I think they start like the relationship between the Devils, Montreal, to hire many people from Montreal long time ago. Jacques Lambert, Pat Burns, Robinson, everything like that. It's become and when I look, I'm a big fan of Montreal Canadiens, but I like other teams. I always like the Pittsburgh Penguins Devils, one of them also. That's something I don't like it. You don't get money from Boston, the Leaf, or the Philly example. But the Devils has been a team I really like to follow. Whenever time we have a game, I was watching the Devils many times. I think this is a team is really built by Tom Fitzgerald. I think he's a great general manager. I think he's underrated as a GM, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but I think he did a very good selection of the young prospect players. And but again, it's happening like the Montreal against Washington. That they will need to be bigger on the top 6. They have to get a kind of physicality players. I know it's easy to say Kachuk or Bennett, everything like that, but I think they need to play with it more with another. I think the contract when they signed Audrey Palat, I thought it was a mistake. I don't like the Connor Brown contract for 4 years, in my opinion. This is a team, have a lot of great young prospects. It's a team going to be fine this year, but I think when you hit the playoff, I don't know. It's a team is missing a couple of pieces of the puzzle, Jim.
No, I agree with you. Look, Coach, did you watch a podcast I did during the season? I had brought this up, and everybody in New Jersey flipped out. I said the same thing a couple months ago about the Devils forwards. It reminded me of Montreal those years ago when they were small. I think the Devils are a little too small. Yeah, you have Timo Meyer. Yeah, but Andre Palat, that's great. Andre Palat's not a top six forward anymore. He's just not. Like, you need something else. And everybody's like, oh, got to get Kachuk. Brady Kachuk's not leaving the Ottawa Senators. Okay, he got a taste of the playoffs with that team. They're gonna do everything to keep Brady there. Like, it's not gonna happen. Like, and everybody's like, oh, Jason Robertson. Well, Jason Robertson's another small forward. You need to get a little bigger. You need to get Montreal kind of started to realize that they need a little bit bigger forward guys. They're hoping that Arseniy Ritsyuk from Russia is gonna, be that guy again. Kind of like, for me, I'm a little pessimistic because the whole Nikita Gusev situation in New Jersey a couple years ago. He come over, everybody's like, oh, top six forward, he's gonna be great, and then he didn't really do anything. So I'm kind of holding my expectation. They had the kid from Finland coming over, Hamanaho's coming over as well, so they're gonna see what they have in their system. Again, everything that New Jersey has to do this offseason, they can't really do too much until they sign Luke Hughes. And that extension for a restricted free agent defenseman that's putting up the numbers that he had, he was third place in Calder 2 years ago, going to cost you like $7.5 million on a long-term deal. So until they figure that one out, they really can't do too much more this offseason until they know what that number is. And I think it kind of hampered their offseason, similar to the injury to Jack Hughes at the trade deadline. That kind of changed directions of this team. I think they're going to try to make a play for Raquel again from Pittsburgh because I think that would help them. But again, what are you going to have to give up? And do they want to move players out like Dawson Mercer? And maybe they can see if somebody can get Andre Palat's contract off their hands to give them some cap space to do something else.
Well said. We have a question for Surf. Does Bolduc replace Laney on the second line?
He might down the line. He could down the line. I mean, again, we got to see because Laine is eligible to sign an extension now, and maybe Montreal wants to keep him. Depends on how long they want to keep him. I think Laine was a good fit for that team. He seems really happy in Montreal, right? I know the fans get on him a little bit because of production and this. He's a goal scorer. That's what he does. Like, goal scorers are streaky. We've talked about this. Paul Murray on the island. You see that around the league. Goal scorers are streaky. Not everybody's Kyle Connor that could consistently put up goals. There's guys that can consistently do it. I think Laine is a good fit for this team. I really do think I really love Patrik Laine for this team. Maybe Bolduc does eventually, but not right now. I think they're going to start with Laine on the second line, and if Bolduc proves that he can be on the second line and consistent top six forward, then yeah. But again, how much are you going to pay Laine to stay here, and does he want to play third line and all that? I think right now you have two weapons on a power play, especially with Laine and Hudson opposite each other and Demidov. Like, you have three weapons on that team. So I think they might try to extend them, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right about that. I think it's time. It's like Montreal used the same thing. Like Mike Madison started play the power play, then you get Lennartson pick up his spot. Laney, for me, is only about consistency, in my opinion. If he can be consistency to stay in the second line, be fine. It's a great 6'5" body, by the way. His 5 versus 5 number after increasing. They blame, Dak or Laney, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, that second line was the biggest problem for the Montreal last season, in my opinion. The first line was amazing. The third line, Anderson, Gallagher, Dvorak was solid. Jake Evan, for a couple of months, they was on fire. In December last year, guys, they have 30 points. Was crazy. After the injury, Heineman, the four line got go down after that. But I think the second line is the key for the Montreal Canadiens. If they want to repeat for what they did last season, they have that line to be a better productivity on the 5 versus 5. And it was one of the worst in NHL last season. And with the addition of Demidov, it's going to be a little bit better. But Lenny need to be consistency game after game, night after night, to make the Montreal Canadiens have again repeat the same year or they have a better year. So I don't know if you agree with me about that.
No, I agree with you. And don't forget, we have to throw in the center because, again, we've talked about this, right? Kirby Doc is a guy that, if he's going to be healthy and they're going to give him a hard look. And I think, Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon talked about at the year ends. They're like, this is a big year they put it on Kirby Doc to show them, give him a reason to keep him around, right? Final year contract, all that stuff. They gave him, they're like, look, they pushing this kid. If Doc can stay healthy, he can feed the puck to Demidov and Line. He really is a puck distributor, and that's what he can do. And when he came up, when he was over there, he played really well. And when Slafkovsky first came over, he really helped Slafkovsky's game when he was healthy. So I think Doc and Line are keys to this thing for me on that second line.
Well said about this. Peter August, how bullish are you on Bolduc? He's been immediately heralded as a savior, but I'm not necessarily seeing it. I could be awfully wrong for Zachary Bolduc, Peter.
I mean, I like the addition of Bolduc. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I call him like savior or all that, but I like the player. Like, I think they're taking a risk. I've said this to some people. To me, it feels like it's like a Kirby Doc 2.0, not like with the injuries and everything like that and risk, but it's a player you're taking a chance on, and a player that Jeff Gordon knows and scouted, and he feels that can fit Martin St. Louis' system. You swapped out Mailloux for both. This is a good trade for both teams. I think it's a winnable trade for both teams. And I think he's going to fit right in with Montreal. He's going to do what he did in St. Louis. He'll probably see a little bit more time. And maybe down the line, he moves up in the lineup. But this is a good ad for Montreal. I'm not saying this is going to put them, Bolduc's going to put them over the edge for a Stanley Cup. I don't think so. But I think that's going to help them in their bottom six for sure. And then he can move up eventually because I think that's the skill set I believe that he has.
You're right about this. I think for me, Zachary Bolduc, Peter, I said to you guys, this is another player we're missing on the Montreal again. A good full checker. It's Heineman, guys, but better. This is what I see this like to give you a little bit more a visual situation, guys. This is what he is. He's a 6 foot, good full checker, great skater, a great release. Can play on the bumper as a second unit power play. He have 7 goals and 19 of his 19 goals on power play. Have what 13 points last 20 game of the Blues. Play on the first line at some point. He played a solid game against Montreal Canadiens last year in March, if I can recall it properly. You go to like it, Peter. No doubt in my mind, is going to be a good player for Montreal. Not next year, but this is a kind of player for me. It reminds me a little bit Dawson Mercer. I'll be honest with you, Jim. 100 point the QM, a lot of gold. This is going to be a good player a long term for Montreal. Guys, he's only 22, play only a full year in NHL. Let him develop again. He has a lot of things to learn. He has a lot of things to work on it. It's not perfect, but this is a good, for me, another home run, in my opinion. A little bit like Alex Carrier did the trade for the Montreal for Justin Barron. I think this is good overall for the Montreal Jim.
Yeah, I love the trade. Like I said, I think it's a good trade. Like you said, he's 22. He's only had 1 year in the NHL. Alex Carrier came. At least Alex Carrier had a little bit more time when he got traded to Montreal. But that's another solid get. Again, I don't know what Nashville's doing, giving away all these good players. I mean, Tomasino, Novak, Carrier. Like there's a list of players that they've just gotten rid of, draft picks and players. I just don't understand what they are doing there. And in my opinion, I think, just let him settle in, temper the expectations, allow him to play his game. Don't get on his. I think this is the problem with a lot of young players too. Is that everybody thinks, oh, the expectations. We put these expectations on all these players, and when they don't live up to them, oh, they're not good enough, and this and that. Just let him play his game. Just let him have fun. Let him go play hockey, and that's what he's going to do. And again, he's come into a good situation. It's a good team, good leadership. Nick Suzuki's there. Like, you have Cole Caulfield. This is a good young team. He's going to fit right in with this team. Not a problem.
Well said. I would add Caden Cody, by the way, with that kind of leadership experience about this. Sentiment ask you about Ovechkin. It's going to be his last season, the upcoming one, and then I'm going to add you prediction of Ovechkin, the number of the goal, and because you're in the Metropolitan Division with the New Jersey Devils, do you see the Capitals repeat the same kind of season?
All right. So last year for Ovi, I mean, somebody slipped with the ticket thing. Come see Ovechkin's last season. He's never officially announced it's going to be his last season. It's his last year of his contract. So he's UFA at the end of the year. I think depends on how many goals he puts up again. He puts up another 50 spot. Like, you know, I mean, he could, if he's in within range of like doing some crazy. I mean, obviously he's gonna get, he breaks Wayne's record, right? I mean, you got to think that he wants to put this mark up as high as possible with this team. And he said it last time with the current contract he's on. He said if he was in a position to win and be competitive, that's how long he was signed for. I expect if they keep him on, I think that it would be a short-term deal. Maybe they just do 1-year deals. Again, if Washington's competitive, he may want to stick around and play a little bit more. He loves playing hockey. That's what it's all about for him. I don't see them winning the Metropolitan Division. However, I will stand by what I said last year as a reason why they made the playoffs and we're going to make the playoffs. They know how to win inside that division. They know how to play against Carolina, beat Philly, Washington, New Jersey. They know how to play against all those teams. They know how to beat all those teams. A couple of years ago, New Jersey and Washington started off the season. They played like 3 games in a 2-week span, or maybe 4 games in like a 3-week span, something like that. But New Jersey had chances to knock Washington out of playoff picture then, and they made that wild card run, again, and then they got swept by the Rangers. If New Jersey could do that, and they didn't execute even last year against them, if they had chances to do that, maybe they finish first, or maybe they get home ice against Carolina. But Washington knows how to win in that division, and I think that's why they stick around again.
Well said, Jim. I agree with you about that. I think they're going to regress a little bit, but I think they will be in the playoff. It will be like a top 3 in the division over there. Um, a team to watch on your division is really the Columbus Blue Jacket. I think this Blue
Yes.
Jacket could kick out maybe a team a little bit struggles. This is why I said the Rangers have to be so much better to come bounce back because the Columbus could be the wild card of that division. I think a little bit like Washington did last season. From nowhere, they pick up that division. I don't say Columbus will finish first, but I said, guys, if you're Metropolitan Division guys, fans, watch the Columbus Blue Jacket. If they have a good performance of the goaltender, that team make the playoff last season. It's not Montreal.
Oh, if they started Jack Reeves then before they did, I think they're in the playoffs. I mean, they were only a couple of points outside the Stadium Series. New Jersey was struggling the second half of that season. They had a big series with the Devils, and the Devils were ready to win that. But if Jack Reeves is starting those games, the way Columbus was playing, I'm not even sure the Devils get in the playoffs. They might have fall out of third, right? Like, I mean, they were literally a couple of points away. They played in like Marchish, late March after the Stadium Series, and if Columbus wins a couple of those games, they were 2 points behind New Jersey for third place in that division. So
Oh
I
yeah.
agree with you with Columbus. Columbus is a team to watch. Fantilli's unbelievable. Kent Johnson, so good. Like Sean Monahan's playing really well for that team, and to do what they did last year with everything that surrounded that team before the season even started. Hats off to what they did with that team.
Yes, I could talk more about Columbus. We have a question for Peter. Ask you the unit power play number 1, the power play number 2. What the strategy Montreal going to do? Do you think Thompson, Hudson, or are they going to go 1-4 forward? What do you feel it would be the power play for Montreal? Power play number 1 and power play number 2, if you can.
I mean, I know it's gonna be tough because we haven't seen training camp yet. But if I had to look at it, I would say you would probably I would try to do lefty righty on a power play. Go 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, especially we saw what Hudson did on power play 1, right? Like maybe Hudson doesn't start on power play 1, but I don't know how you cannot take him off power play. You can't take him off power play 1. I mean, what he did, like he changed the power play for the Montreal Canadiens last year. Like you have to keep him there. So maybe you go 3-2 on both units. I don't know. I think to me, if you have an ability of like a Lane Hudson who's almost plays like a fourth forward on the power play, but can get back and play D, and his defensive game's only going to get better, by the way. Like Habs fans, like this kid's defensive game is only getting better. Like everybody sees his offensive numbers. He actually played really well defensively for Montreal last year. Yeah, he had some hiccups, made some mistakes. He's a rookie defenseman. Like, like wait till he develops his full game. He's going to be a really good player. And to me, I would go 3-2. I'm a traditionalist when it comes to the power play. Unless you have somebody that can get back there real quick and knows how to play two-way as the fourth forward, I wouldn't do it. That's just me, though. I think you go Hudson, and like I said before, you have Demidov and Line opposite each other on one of the units, and you have Caulfield, Suzuki, Slavkovsky on another. I mean that's dangerous. Those are two dangerous units for the Montreal Canadiens.
Great point about that. I think the good news about this, Martin Sui now have option. Have player
Mm-hmm.
to put on the ice. You cannot put New York anymore like like a Gallagher or this is over. Armia or Heineman guys. Now you have option. You can. I think Montreal is really a team is really patient. They will to give a chance, I believe, for me for Sakaski and Laney at the popular number 1, maybe keep Dobson on popular number 2, and then if something happening, he can bring back Dobson on the top with Hudson, remove Sakaski, have Zuski, Caulfield, or can keep Sakaski there, put Demidov on unit number 2, or bring back Demidov on unit number 1, and then on unit number 2 is going to be a solid power play. The popular Montreal Canadiens number 2 guys have the same level as many teams on the point play number 1. When you talk about Demidov or Patrick Lenny there, you have Noah Thompson there. And this is, going to be a really solid power play for the Montreal Canadiens. So definitely Montreal is going to be increasing number of the goal. But again, Montreal have to be a 5 versus 5 team. Again, how much of the Mailloux trade was based on the imaging giving what he did in the past politically correct move.
I don't know if it's a politically correct move. I think it's more the fact that where was he going to fit in the Montreal Canadiens system and order? Now Dobson's there, like we talked about. Reinbacher is coming up. He's probably the future. It made Mailloux expendable, right? Like I don't think any of that stuff because they took a chance on him anyway. Maybe if they don't make the move for Dobson, maybe Mailloux's playing. We don't know that. But they decided to move on. You get it, like I said, the St. Louis Blues is getting a good young defenseman in Logan Mailloux, and the Montreal Canadiens are getting a good young player in Zachary Bolduc. This is a good hockey trade for both teams. And like we said before, it just Mailloux became expendable once Dobson got there. They're loaded on the right side. Reinbacher's coming. They have so much depth on the right side, especially in their prospect pool, that you can move a defenseman now. Like again, we talk about the assets, right? Asset management. They have the assets now to make trades like that.
A great point about that. A2, I said to you quickly, no, I don't think so. Kenya is going to do offer sheet to any player in NHL, but yes, they could. I don't think so. It will happen for that. Maurice, so you said Bolduc is a step up over Heineman. I will let you answer first, Jim, and then I will do it after that.
Yeah, I think it's a. I mean, I like Heineman. I thought he was a good versatile player for the team. There was one of the guys that I know, big Habs fan down in the New York area. He hated to see the player go, but again, you're getting a similar player like that, the versatile player, good depth piece. But again, you talked about the age range, and again, taking chances on players. And I mentioned it before. Jeff Gordon scouted this player, and when he's doing stuff for NHL Network, there's a clip going around. Somebody put it out about Bolduc and what his potential could be. And I think it's a good trade. I think it's a little bit of an upgrade over Heineman to me, and me personally.
I think so too. I think Eminem, if you see for line, be fine in the shell. If he still consider what he's doing is good, but now we bring more skill players with Bolduc, Jim. This is what I see this for for Bolduc. Yes, a little bit smaller, but is a little bit more bigger of the way he play Bolduc. That would be the difference. I think Heineman would be a range of 10, 15 goal in NHL. Bolduc could become a 20, 25 goal in NHL. I don't know if you agree with me because his power play time is the way he play on power play is so much better at Heineman, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's a great assessment of Bolduc, especially on a power play. I think that's where majority he could get a lot of his goals from, but he also could score 5-on-5 too. And I think that's another reason why they went after him.
You're absolutely right about that. Try to pick it up. A couple of people knocked the door. Thanks everybody to be part of the show tonight. We appreciate that. Don't forget click on the like, subscribe. Can you are you able to do another 12 minutes?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's rock.
All
This is
right,
fun.
sounds
I
good,
love
guys.
answering these
Jim,
questions.
I got a lot of guests during the last couple of years, but I will say to you, the people in the chat really like the way you answer your question, everything. They really like your job. So I just want to say, Jim, thanks so much for to be with us tonight. Not easy on the July 3rd, guys. I just realized when we pop up, and I said, geez, I thought him July 3rd. What the heck? I did that right there. I should wait.
Hey, you know what? Yeah, but you know what? That's a good thing because a lot of it's fresh, right? A lot of it's fresh. If it was a couple of weeks down the line, it wouldn't be as fresh. So a lot of it happened, which is good, and I like that you did it.
I appreciate that. Very kind of you to do that anyway on the special edition of the time in the USA. It's Independence Day, so we'll see what happens. That's what we've got right now. Try to figure out something else. Maybe I try to get sometimes the question are not always there, but I try to pick up everybody. David is back in the house. Up the Blues. Thanks so much. He said thank Jim for to be a part of the show tonight from him for that. Devils, because I really like the Devils. They still have Sean Casey and they have Simon Nemec. Question like this: do you see a trade for one of the two, or if it's yes, which one, or if it's not, both stay? What you feel about that? I think they are two solid defensemen. I prefer Simon Nemec, but at some point Casey cannot stay in that organization for a long time and with Utica.
Look, I think one of them is going to get traded. I've heard last year that teams were looking at both players. I know for a fact, and I've reported this at RG Media and other places that the Nashville Predators tried to make a play on Casey twice, and Dawson Mercer. That when the Devils tried to go after UC Saros from Nashville before he signed, they were looking at both players and a first round pick. Similar to what the Ryan O'Reilly situation was, like Simone Nemec and Casey, they wanted one of those young defensemen, and they wanted Dawson Mercer as well because they were going to lose a center. I think eventually one of those players are going to have to get traded. Why? Because Jonathan Kovacevic, former Montreal Canadian, in a trade with New Jersey, has a new contract that pays him 5 years, pays him $4 million a season. So I think that eventually one of those players has to become expendable, similar to what we saw in Montreal with Logan Mailloux and David Reinbacher. And I'm going to throw this out here, even though you never asked me this, but I see a lot of commentary on social media, especially Devil's social media, in regards to Douglas Hamilton and people trying to try to shed his contract. Okay, that's great, unless you're getting Quinn Hughes in return. And if you're not getting Quinn Hughes in return, why are you weakening your right side of your defense when then that means you're going to rely on Nemec and Casey with no Kovacevic to start the year behind Brett Pesce? I don't know how that makes that team better. Again, I look at it from a numbers game. Eventually, maybe. And again, say New Jersey hypothetically gets Quinn Hughes. That means one of those players is definitely leaving then. You have to send a defenseman back. And eventually, if you're going to really upgrade and take a next step and get a scoring player like that, you're eventually going to have to part with a piece like a Simone Nemec or a Seamus Casey. You have to eventually, to get better. You have to give up something to get better, and the good teams know who they need to give up to get better. And if the Devils want to take a next step, one of those players are going to be expendable.
Well said. We'll be interested what you're going to do. I really like Sean Casey. Just a 5'11", I believe, is his size. I can recall it, maybe 5'10". But Nebek, honestly, he stepped up last year. He's struggling a bit. He was up and down playing American colleague, but he finished strong. I think he's going to be a good player for them on the right side about that. We'll be very interested what happened. We do a clash. And this is a where it's about prediction, Jim. And I put some kind of Devils Montreal Canadiens. I knew you'd be with me. It's a what we call this. Honestly, it's a question for you, and you have to say absolutely agree. It's absolutely. If you're not if you are disagree, you said not allowed. So I have 6 questions for you, and for the people in the chat, guys, you can answer also. If you don't mind, don't forget please to click on the like. We'll appreciate that. Again, my first one, the Montreal Canadiens over 90 have 92 points, the Devils 95 points in 2025. I forgot to remove over, but do you think Montreal Canadiens get there? Here we go, 92 points, and the Devils 95 points next season?
Absolutely, yes, I do. Not that's because we're on here, but I like what the Habs are doing. I like what the Devils are doing. I think the Devils can get there. They stay if both teams stay healthy, especially the Devils, because Jack Hughes, every time he goes down, the team just struggles, and they had a lot of injuries towards the end of the year. But that team, I don't see why the Devils are not a 95-point team, and I don't see why the Canadiens can't be in the 90s again. They just missed out a little bit this year. I mean, let's be honest. Look, Calgary missed the playoffs at 96 points this year, this past season, and not too many people had that team at 96 points.
You're absolutely about that. So good answer. I still believe. I would say not allowed. I'm worried about the Montreal Canadiens Devils. I find it will be fine, but the Montreal Canadiens will be hard to repeat, I believe. But we'll see what happening about this. My second question: Jack Hughes get 100 points.
Oh man, I want to say absolutely, but the injuries. He should get 100 points if he stays healthy. He should do it. I'm gonna go not at all because I don't know how many games he's fully gonna play. That's the only thing that scares me.
I never said it's going to be easy question, by the way, Jim. I forget to mention
No,
that
I
to
know.
you.
I love the question. I love the question. It makes me think, but I'm gonna hedge on not at all. I'm gonna hedge my bet and go that way.
Example, if you know the average player 72 games, 73 games, 70 games, right? Yeah, maybe miss a couple of games left and right. It still be hard for him to get 100 points if he plays 70 games. It's almost like 1.3, 1.4 point per game, so it's really hard for him to do that. Stay healthy, yes, definitely, because the power play of the Devil is really good.
Yeah, no, it's very good. You have Jesper Bratt there too, and you know he's closing in on that number too, and I believe he did get it or he just missed it. He was right there. This past season he played well, so I think it's a great I think it's a great question. I think it is a possibility for it to happen. But
Next
yeah,
one.
for me for Bratt, yeah, but I'll hedge on Jack saying no.
Do you think Samuel Montembeault get more win que Jacob Max Strong? Montembeault get over 30 win last season. Max Strong, and the question's coming this way, Jim. Max Strong is not a younger goalie anymore. He's what, 34, 5 maybe?
35. It's
So,
35, yeah.
you know, it's not easy to carry on the team. They signed Jake Allen. Um, I don't like his contract. I know it's 1.8 for a long
Neither
time,
do
but
I.
this,
I don't like it either. I don't like it either. So we can agree on that. I don't
yeah.
like the turn. I don't like
So,
the length.
do you think Montembeault get more win?
Well, he's gonna have probably more starts than Markstrom potentially, right? Markstrom's the number one in New Jersey. if they play him more, but if they split, I'll say absolutely yes. Montembeault has more wins than Markstrom. Yes, I'm going with absolutely, just because I think he's going to have more of a workload, right? But they have to figure out that backup goalie position too. They have Capo Kakinen now, so he can take some starts away from Montembeault, and I think that's why he struggled down the line. But I still think he can get more wins than Markstrom.
The question is good because you have Maxwell at 26 win last year. Montebo had more win last season. I know Maxwell got hurt. I understand that the March or February, March, I believe. But for a goalie like now is 35 years old, going to turn 36. Play 50 more game. It's not easy in the NHL anymore. Play every two
No,
game.
and you mentioned Allen's there too, and they love their tandem there too. So I mean, and say like for instance, say Allen gets hurt, Nico Dawes can take starts away too from Markstrom. He proved it last year. He could play in the National Hockey League. By the way, speaking of Dawes, real quick, I know we're playing a game real quick, but he's waiver eligible. So if the Devils don't decide to carry 3 goalies, and that's something Jake Allen did not like in Montreal, he's going to be put on waivers. That would be actually a pretty decent ad if Montreal wanted to pick up a goaltender.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Hudson have 15 more points. Alain Hudson at the end of the year.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yes. 15 more points. Yes. That
Not only
easy one
more
for me.
point, I said 15 more. So 80 versus 65 or 70 versus 655.
Absolutely, because Lane Hudson's power play points are probably better than Luke Hughes' power play points, and he has, like we discussed before, there are more options for the Canadiens on the power play than the Devils do. Yes, Luke can do, but they can spread it around, and Jack and Jesper and Nico can pick up a lot more power play points than the defensemen can do in New Jersey than the ones in Montreal. So yeah, 15 more points, absolutely. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but that's where I'm going.
I'm good with that. I agree with you. I still, and what I was said that I need your help a little bit. Hughes is the power play number 1 or in the power play number 2?
He was power play 2 until the end of the year. Then he went to PP1 because of some of the injuries.
Okay, because usually you use Hamilton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I will go absolutely on that one. But again, I think Hughes could be closer if you have more time on the power play number 1. The next one, Bolduc more goal, the Dawson Mercer.
And Dawson Mercer is a controversial figure in New Jersey because he's on my players to watch that could get traded this year, especially if they want to upgrade.
Do you know the number of the goal for Mercer?
Did he just finish near 20? Did he get near 20?
Yeah, 19 goals, exactly like Bolduc. That's the reason this question is coming from.
Man. Woo! I mean, I think Bolduc could get more than 19 goals this year. The way we were talking about him, like I talked him up. Mercer's numbers have gone the other way the last couple of years. That's the problem, and he's not been scoring at a higher rate than what is expected. I really don't want to put pressure on the kid because I think he could do it, but I'm gonna say not at all on this because I think Mercer's ready to come back to the guy he was that showed that he earned that contract.
Just take a note, guys. Mercer 19 goals and 17 minutes 53 TOI. Bolduc 19 goals and only 12 minutes and 45 seconds, something like that. So
and his
5 more minutes per game. Jim, you talk about maybe 12 more game more of ice time of Mercer, but they still have the same number of the goal at the end of the year. And Mercer still has 6 goals. He have a 6 goal power play goal last season too. So prototype of the player really can produce the same number of goals approximately next year. But it's something we're going to take a note about this. And
yeah, we gotta watch. We gotta watch that one. That's one we gotta watch. We gotta come back to that one because I think Bolduc's numbers are gonna come up a little bit because his ice time will increase just by a little bit.
Exactly. The Devils finished the top two in the Metropolitan Division.
They should. They should,
They
right? Like
should.
Washington's gonna take. They should, right? They should. I'm gonna say not at all. I don't think they're gonna. I think they'll finish top three, but I don't think they're gonna do top two. I think Carolina, and I think maybe there's a mystery team in the Metro Division that
You
maybe
see
passes them.
Washington get there?
I think Washington. I think Washington could be top two again, but I don't know if they're gonna be number one. I don't think they're gonna be number one, but they'll be top three too, like New Jersey. I think again, everything has to line up perfectly for New Jersey to be top two. Like the year they played the Rangers in the first round, where they had home ice advantage. Everything has to line up perfectly for New Jersey to finish top two. I still think there's like a mystery team that. I mean, I'm not saying like we looked at it. Columbus could be there. Islanders could be better than teams think. What if the Rangers have a really bounce back season? They could finish second in the division. I'm not holding my breath on that, but I don't. And they should. Again, they should. Will they? I'm not sure at this point. So I'm going not at all.
All right. And last one, guys. Suzuki more goal over Nico.
Ooh. I know Nico had what 30 something last year.
Last year, Nico had 35 goals. So you have a little bit more as Suzuki. Suzuki dropped from 33 to 30. And Ehlers increase, I believe, of 6 goals, I believe, last season. He has 8 goals. He jumped from 27 to 35. So both of them are the range between 28 to 35, both of them. And
yeah,
that's the reason I put this. So Suzuki more goal as over Ehlers.
I'm gonna go absolutely. I'm gonna take Suzuki over Hischier because it's tough to do 35 goals every year consistently. We talked about it. Consistent goal scorers are hard to find. Hischier's offensive numbers are coming up too, but again, he's good. He's more of a two-way forward, and he gets the toughest assignments. And again, when he does put the puck in the net, they do come in bunches. But I feel like Suzuki's like gonna have like a prove it first half of the year to go show everybody. And he did the second half of the year for Montreal to say, hey, why'd you keep me off Four Nations in Canada? And I think that he's going to come out strong for Montreal this year.
You're right about that. I think, definitely Suzuki will have more points, but maybe Ehlers can have more goals.
Yeah, that could happen. Hey, we don't have to agree on everything. That's the point of the clash, right? I like that. A
question from Peter Jim. What's up with Dawson Mercer situation that he stayed with the New Jersey Devils? There's some kind of rumor around Dawson Mercer. Montreal would love to have Dawson Mercer. And but is this real or not?
No, I mean, I think, his name has been out there, right? Like you have to, we've talked about it before. You have to give up something to get something, right? And is Dawson Mercer one of those guys that you're going to have to look to move, right? Palat's another guy. Like, in order to get better, we know how good he is defensively. He's penalty kill, but like, I heard it last year. Tom Fitzgerald said, we got offense. It's going to come. I think they expected Dawson Mercer to be a top 6 forward for them, and he's just not right now. The numbers, yes, the numbers were the numbers were, but going into that contract, and they dipped that 1 year, and he held out to be a $4 million player. I thought he should have gotten paid 3.25, 3.5. Instead, he gets a bridge deal at $4 million. He doesn't get a long-term extension like the other guys did. So it kind of tells me that, and it's a movable contract. $4 million with the cap going up isn't a terrible thing. But again, if you're looking to try to improve, that's a player you're gonna have to potentially move. I hate moving out young players like that, but sometimes they've peaked at a certain point and they just are what they are. And he's a good penalty killer. He's a good third line player that can flip up to the second line, but consistently, can he be a second line player in this league? I think he more is consistently of a third line guy and a good in a defensive role. If that's a player that you can give up to add a little scoring or get another versatile player like that, I think that's something you have to look at. Like I said before, Nashville tried to make a call on him. I know the asking price for Raquel was a player like that from Pittsburgh. So the rumors aren't going to go away because also the Devils need to shed salary cap space, for Luke Hughes eventually, that extension. So that's a player that has some value for teams around the league.
You're right about this. We'll be very pleased. A good asset for sure for Mercer. Like I said, Montreal fans would like to get Dawson Mercer with the Montreal Canadiens. So we have to wait what happening. Good. Jim, blew my mind. This is great. This is awesome. And hopefully you're going to come back during summer at some point if you have a chance. Everything. I know you're busy. And anything you need from us, from me, if you want help, if you want me to help, whatever you need, please don't hesitate to reach me. It was a pleasure and really grateful to having you with us. But again, I'm just the driver of that channel. And the key, we are not a big channel, but the beauty of this channel is the people in the chat. And they are great people. They have knowledge about hockey. There's time we exchange, me and you, those people exchange between all of them. And just a great people. So, Jim, for all the people in the chat, they just want to let you know how they appreciate you for your time, but also for your knowledgeable about hockey. But of course, about the time you be with me. So I just want to say to you, thank you. I really appreciate it. Hopefully this is not the last time, but another time. We're not going to wait 3 years or 2 years to see
No,
you
we're
again.
not doing this again. Yeah, we're not waiting 3 years to do this again. No, I appreciate all the fan interaction and all the places that I go that I'm on. The fans are what makes these shows possible. They're the comments. I started as a fan. I called into a local radio station. I've done all this. Like, this is where I got. This is how I started. So I appreciate the fans and I love the questions. Like I said, I love interacting with people, especially good, knowledgeable fans, and to come up with good questions. This is the stuff I like to do, and be a part of it, and be a part of this is fun. And I love taking the time to spread my hockey knowledge. I'm grateful for everybody that gives me the opportunity to do that, and I appreciate it to everybody out there with great questions.
You're welcome to come here anytime if you want to. I know you're scheduled sometime, but you said, "Hey, coach, I have some night. I'm on every night." So it's not like I
We,
skip. So 8:30 p.m. I'm on. So when you have a chance, opportunity, I don't know what's your schedule, but please don't hesitate by X account to join me. Uh, that'd be great.
No, that'd be great. Maybe we'll talk some. Maybe we'll talk a little bit off air about maybe setting some up. Do a maybe a weekly or bi-weekly thing when the season starts or during the summer. If people want to ask some questions, do this again because I had a blast and I would love to come back
I would
anytime
love
to
you
do
to
this
have you,
because
my friend Jim. With the
I love this. This coach, this was great. I loved every minute of this.
I'll be honest with you, Jim. What it drives you a lot is your passion. I'll be honest with you. I'm older, right? My life has been now on the flip side. I live in Thailand. My life is simple. I just do this for fun. Don't do this for money because if I make money, I'm not going to be rich, honestly. But I think you, when I look at you and when you talk, is your passion you have inside of you, and you carry on this to helping the people to love the game and also to understand the game. And that's the most important thing as a podcaster. And any people you have some time to invite us to come here, you can bring someone if you want to. But I would just say to you, great job again. This is not the last time. This is the beginning of a new
No,
way here at the Hockey National Show. But anything you need from me to helping you left and right, please reach me. I will do my best to be to helping you for sure. So for all the people in the chat, we see you. Thanks so much. Happy Independence Day with your family. Enjoy. Take a time to be with your loved one, and I can wish you until the next time, my friend Jim.
hey, Coach Frenchy, thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. This has been a great time, and thank you for the well wishes for 4th of July, Independence Day, and God bless everybody. And I hope can't wait to be back on here talking some puck.
All right, thank you, Jim. A good one, buddy. I appreciate that. It was Jim Biringer, guys, directly from Vermont on the vacation. He took a time, guys, to be with us during his time, during when he is on vacation with his family. So this is great. I know some of you are really appreciate his time, but also the way he did it. And like I said, he will going to be back with us definitely. And this is going to be just another an additional good co-host at the Hockey National Show. And hopefully, like me, you appreciate. I every every show I show up here, guys, I prepare at least 60 to 90 minutes. So I make, you know, all the preparation for the new NHL news, the Montreal Canadiens news. We're going to talk about what we have, what I hear about what's going on in NHL, I do around everything like that. And I set up, I make a show and I wake up 90 minutes before everything. My point behind that, guys, a show like tonight, I could do anything. And we're going to go through a 90 minutes and 2 hour show together. Because you guys, you make a lot of questions. That's make the show better when you question people. Some of them of you may be shy. Or I cannot ask this question, it's stupid. The stupid question are sometimes the best question. You question, make a conversation in the chat and exchange more between me and Jim at the same time. So, guys, you are the runner of that show all the time. I want to finish, guys, with the Montreal Canadiens news. I'm going to go around very quickly, if you don't mind, and then we're going to finish the show in the next couple of minutes. So, don't go nowhere. And a lot of people, usually, I welcome all of you. And you can see, guys, Jim is still with us in the chat on that one. You want to finish with us, or you want to have 10 more minutes?
I mean, I stay here. Let's chat it up a little bit more. I'm still here. I didn't leave, so I'm still here. I didn't close out the window. If you guys want to chat it up a little bit more, I'm good.
No problem. Sound good. So we have the Montreal Canadiens news, guys, today, and it was the development camp happening today. I'm going to show you a couple of things what happening, guys. I don't know if you have a chance watching or not, but we have a couple of players
A little bit, yeah.
You have a couple of players step up. Michael Edge. I want you to talk a little bit more about. I know you know him. LJ Mooney, Jean Mooney, draft for the Montreal, 131 pounds. He's number 41, guys, on the ice. And this is a couple of goals happening during the development camp. But how you feel about him?
I like Mooney. He's a good player. He's I mean, good shot, good speed coming up. As we see in the highlights. Here again, it's development camp. It's hard to take a lot out of development camp because they're still young and they're still developing, and they're young players, and they'll go back and to where their respective teams are after today, and they're going to get put their size on and everything. But I like the pick of the player. Obviously, we talked about Michael Haig before, so I think the Canadian that this player is really good for Montreal. Again, we're not going to see him for a little bit, so give him time, let him develop, and here we go. And I like what I see from the player.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about this. Is this Felix Trudeau, guys, has scored 2 goals for the Montreal. I'm giving you a little bit more. The plus show up today. Michael Edge have a step over everybody. I know his second year, but you can see his skill, talent, skate. The skate is the way he play. He was a little bit over everyone. Mooney have a good game. Ethan Papanevikis have a great game. A big body, 6'5". Tyler Top, 6'5". Also, they use their body. Thorpe came back for the 27 goal with the Vancouver Giants last season. Papanevikis was stuck with his cellular. I couldn't believe he got traded to the Kelowna last season at WHL. And one goalie surprised me, guys. I did not know really well, to be honest with you. I tried to spit up to go everywhere. I did not really know Arseny Badkov. And I think for yesterday, he was the best goalie on the ice. But the way he was, track the puck, his body was square in front of the puck. His T-push was excellent, I believe. And it was looked like easy in front of him. For a young man, draft a couple of years ago, show up at the camp like that, he did not show up any nervously, or he was not nervous about the game at all. I was really impressed by Batkov. Honestly, he's a big goaltender, 6'3", 6'4" for the MHL. Go to follow him next year. But what do you hear from people around you? Maybe you watch about the development camp from Montreal Canadiens.
I mean, you mentioned the guys, right? Thorpe and the Greek Papakinis. Big guys, right? Everybody's drafting big players right now. You saw it in the NHL draft, the kind of the Florida Panther model, the big body players, 6'5", 200 pounds, 225, guys like that. They want to, like, the smaller players dropped in the draft, right? Unless you have ultimate skill like a James Higgins, guys were going third round. And you can clearly see you could clearly see that the Montreal Canadiens got big players that can help them be more physical, good depth players with skill. It's a copycat league in the National Hockey League, right? You get big young prospects. They're not going to come along in a while, but hey, they did good work. I think a lot of these players were good standouts for Montreal at their development camp. And I really don't know too much about the goaltender either. So I watched. I've seen a couple of highlights of him. He'll be good down the line, but he's not going to be here for a while. The guy that they have is in their system. The future goaltender, Jacob Fowler, and everybody knows it.
I just want to take enough for everybody, guys. Every time we talk about prospect, a lot of fans expect, he is so excited about him. He's going to be another flop or a bird. But at the end of the day, guys, I'm really sick, right? They are many of them never going to play in NHL, but it's fun to watching them. It's fun talking about them, and we see me. It's just neat. I think Montreal Canadiens try to get an home run when you pick a number 4 rounds, 5th round, 6th round, 7th round. You're looking someone can maybe make the NHL one day. That's what you took a chance with LJ and Moni. I know Luke, you said is another small player. You're right about that. But people like Benson, Sankoven, Caulfield, they bring cat. I don't say he's going to be like them, but they make it. And we'll see what Moni is going to get out there. He's going to have a great year with the Minnesota Cold Fire. We're going to follow him, but we'll see. On the flip side, because when you have a great player, sometimes something struggle. And whoops, sorry about that. I'm going to bring this a bit higher. Cuivo have a good game, but not great game for me. I was expecting a bit more for Cuivo. He got a couple of good flash on the second period. I think he was, the first period was a little bit more like nervous, everything like that. But the second period, he showed up a couple of flash. But still, young man. This is going to be a long road for him. But we have to get him to be patient with him. Konishkov, guys, I was expecting more for him. But again, it's a scrimmage one game. We're not going to blame him about that. I'm not going to, you know what I mean? Like, it's only one game. And I said Kolokin, but it's Volokin. I apologize for that one. It was looking bad on the goalie of Thorpe, I'll be honest with you. But otherwise, it was okay. Volokin, again, is Volokin, Konishkov, Markin Kenin. They have a couple of players drafted by Montreal. Russia guys was here this year for the first time. So they see like it's not easy in Montreal. A scrimmage is sold out at the Brassard today. It's sold out. Everybody's watching the dam. So you have to consider that. But Canada have a good game, be honest with you guys. He was wearing number 85. It was on the invitation plus. Laving was good. Felix Trudeau have 2 goals. But I think someone will never talk about this. I should put his name there. I really like as the defenseman was Owen Pratt. Pratt have a very good game today. Pratt is a kid from the Brampton, playing the OHL, big body. It's a little bit a home-based defenseman, in my opinion. I think he's going to be a good player a long term, but we have to develop defensemen take time. I really like his game, Owen Pratt. So I don't know if you want to talk about the name is on the board on the screen right now.
I mean, you summed it up pretty good. I mean, like we said, you can't take too much from these development camps, right? Like I remember we're going to Devils development camp. Oh, this guy's gonna be good. Like Michael McLeod, his 1 year. Oh, he looks really good, or why is this guy back in development camp again? I thought, you get temper expectations, right? It's a scrimmage and a development camp that's quick before a holiday. Like some of these development camps used to be after the July 4th holiday or Canada Day. Like they're squeezing everything in before holidays and stuff. Like you said, some of these guys are coming over to Montreal for the first time. It's different. It's a hockey rabid city, and you get caught up in some of it. Like you really do. You come up there as a kid and you're like, whoa, what's going on. So you can't take too much from a scrimmage and development camp. I mean, if this was if this was preseason game, I kind of say the same thing. But there, you're trying to see who fits into your AHL lineup, where the guys fit. It's development camp, and like you said, how many of these kids are actually going to make it to the NHL? Not too many, right? Like, so I think you just gotta have fun with these things. I like the fans that they're excited about it, right? You get excited because you haven't seen hockey in a while. I get it,
You
but don't
know,
over criticize the players.
for me, it's like I still remember just because his last name, I'm going to screw up his last name for Shakir and Madadelin from the Devils, first round pick. I think it was 10 or 14, and maybe he was from the, or maybe 20 by the Devils.
20, yeah.
20, yeah. Um, he was a big fellow. I was follow him, and it was on my first round pick mock draft. And it was every time we see his name, it's like how he can put all the letter in the back of the jersey. So I always follow him. I always like him. And now with the New Jersey Devils, but you will see he's going to be a part of the. He finished strong the year with the St. Louis Sharks. Talking about him, guys. Maybe if you don't know, I follow a lot of the KHL last year because of Dimitrov. I did all the game. I didn't miss any game of Dimitrov. I was really impressed by Eitan Saliev last season. Play with
Oh yeah,
Konishkov.
Devils. Yeah,
He played
Devils.
with Konishkov with Torpedo, by the way, right?
Yep, he did. Yeah, he played. He played really good. Seliev was just over at developmental camp. He's playing well. He's a good player for New Jersey. And then, like we said, Gritzuk's coming over for New Jersey as well. So yeah, I mean, like you said, you follow KHL. Some of the games were a little tough to watch. I'm not gonna lie, but I saw a lot of the highlights of Demidov last year, and I thought, I mean, like I said, what he was doing with the limited. Don't forget, he had a lot of limited ice time last year in the KHL, and still put up those numbers. So yeah, I mean, I love watching some of the prospects that come over, but again, not everyone can transition. It's tough transition to North American game. It's different game.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. So, guys, I don't want to go a little bit more deeper about what happening there. So I want to share a little bit more news for the what's going on around Montreal Canadiens. Zachary Bolduc, we're going to wear the number 76 for the Montreal Canadiens. Question for everybody, question for you. I like to do trivia. I surprise everyone. How many players wear the number 76 in the Montreal Canadiens history?
Wow. Well, it definitely wasn't retired when PK Subban got it. So there has to be more. It has to be. It feels like this is. I want to say maybe 5.
5 of them. I'm going to let the chat. I'm going to let the people answer to us very quickly, if you don't mind. We're going to come back on that
Yep.
answer. The next 2 minutes, I'm going to see if someone got it. And at the same time, a new deal from William Trudeau from Laval Rocket got a 2-way contract, 1 year only for Trudeau. Trudeau have a really good year for the Laval Rocket this season. You can see missing the playoff. Again, the Charlotte hurt the Laval Rocket with a spoon. But this is a kid underrated, I believe, for the Montreal Canadiens. How you feel about Trudeau?
No, I like it. Great signing. Good deal. Bring him back. Depth for your AHL, and 2-way contract. Guy you can bring up, right? If there's injuries and stuff. So it's a good player for me, and he earned it, right? He played really well for Montreal and Laval last year. So I like the deal for him.
You're absolutely about that. The Montreal Canadiens. Oh, this is guys. I'm going to show to you this one very quickly. It's going to be on my video today. The Montreal Canadiens system, the departure for Montreal, guys. Logan Mailloux, Heineman, Luc Cavalin, Raphaël Harvey Pinard. Then we have Kaden Primo, Zach Hayes, Brennan Gignac, Gustav Lindstrom, Connor Hughes. And then you can add also, Armia, Devorak, and David Savard. The answer, many of them in the chat got right, is 3.
Oh, okay.
You have now Bolduc, Subban, and before that, the first one guy in 2004, Joseph Balek, I believe it was the number one. So 3 only on that answer. So I just want to surprise. Steve G is on the house. Welcome back. Steve is a big fan of the Colorado Avalanche. Montreal have new players. Noah Thompson, Zachary Bolduc, Sammy Blais, Capo
That's a good
Kannikonen.
pickup. Sammy Blais is going to be a good player for Montreal.
Do you think he will go to make it? He have a really great. He did not play any game in American Hockey League last in the NHL last year. Played American Hockey League with Abbotsford. A really good pickup from them for Abbotsford. He was really good playoff this year. Do you feel he's going to make the Montreal
Yes.
roster?
Yeah, I think he can make the Montreal roster. He gives them depth, size. He's a good bottom 6 player. Remember what he did for St. Louis Blues during the year they won a cup. So I like Sammy Blais. I think that's a really good pickup.
Then you have a couple of players re-signed with the Rocket guys. Bisson, Farrell, Trudeau, and Estapa. Big body guys. Estapa came from the Michigan, by the way. Good skill, but he's very physical. So we have to say Estapa play only one game, guys. About this, and that's conclude, guys. All the news for the Montreal Canadiens. Jim, I'm going to close the show. See in the green room if you don't mind. It's about 3 minutes if you don't mind. I will see you after that. Is that all right?
Sounds good, buddy. I'll be there.
Okay, thanks so much, Jim. I appreciate that. It was Jim, guys, on this finish the Montreal Canadiens. It's with guys that finish also the show. Somehow we try to go 90 minutes, but you guys make us to over delivery every second night, and that's what we do here, guys. At the end of the show, we try to do the best we can to enjoy more the Hockey Nation. So that's it. That's all we got on a great Thursday night. Now, we wish you guys to be safe. Be careful for the Happy Independence Day. Take a time to take some rest with your love, family around or your friends. And I can wait to see you tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. for the fun Friday night with the hockey coach, Frenchy, for the special Friday night. This is a night with no expectation, no plan. You ask questions like tonight. I answer to your question. We have a Frenchy quiz at the end of the show. And we just prepare the upcoming weekend. So I can wait to see all of you tomorrow night. We're going to talk about everything, the free agency, what happened with the Montreal Canadiens. It's getting down now with the Montreal Canadiens, but I still continue to deliver a couple of news around the Habs. So thanks for being with us tonight. We appreciate Ron Wicking and the monitor. As you can avoid the news and update other people, click on the like. Thanks a lot. Don't forget to subscribe, click on the like, and of course, become a member of the Canadian Show. And the only reason we become better every single time we growing slowly, properly, the right way is because all of you.
You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
Exactly that way, my friend. Thanks so much for all the people. Wish me a great day here and tell them that we are going to be very interesting. We're beginning already Friday morning, 9:20 here, a.m. and tell them is already hot. I don't know what's going to be the weather today, but one thing we're going to know, I'm going to go to the gym. They believe me, I'm going to get there. Like we do at the end of the show, for all of you, thanks so much for your participation tonight. Jim was excellent on the ice tonight with us. And finally, be well, BL. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the second half of what? Luc Laborsson was said 2025. It was also a pleasure for me to entertain you. And until the next time, my friend, the Hockey Nation Show, the Ab Nation, and all the cheese and talent. Want to tell you one more thing. We love you, friends. Have an amazing, great night, everybody. Sweet dream. See you tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Good night, everyone. Booyah! Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time.